Day, how you should pray. Day 22, how you should pray. Now, not me telling you how you should pray. It's Jesus himself in response to a question that his disciples asked him one day, Lord, teach us to pray. And in the Gospel of Luke and in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus taught a prayer that you probably have memorized. You didn't sit down and intentionally memorize it, but probably because you've heard it so many times, whether you pray it every day with a family member or a parent, or you said it so many times in church, it just rolls off of your lips. The Lord's Prayer, the Our Father, as it's called. In fact, I would guess that probably if you say it at night, this happens a lot with the Lord's Prayer, is that you even have spots where as you're praying it, you yawn. Yeah, you yawn when you pray it. I know, I've seen it, I do it, and I've seen it in my kids too. And it's not because we're tired, it's just a weird reflex that happens sometimes when we do it. And sometimes when we're praying the Lord's Prayer, we're just saying the words. We're not really thinking about what Jesus is teaching us when we do the Lord's Prayer. You know, and it's good to have it memorized. It's good to pray it, but it's also good not to just pray it as you're just coming off your lips, but as a real prayer, as what you're talking to God. I love the Luther quote that Zach used here. He says, how many pray the Lord's Prayer several thousand times in the course of a year, and if they were to keep on doing so for 1,000 years, they would not have tasted nor prayed one iota, one dot of it. The Lord's Prayer is the greatest martyr on earth. Everybody tortures and abuses it. Few take comfort and joy in its proper use. That we don't say it just to say it. We say it because of what Jesus says in it, and not just as as the words of it, but as a model for our prayer life too, as a way that we want to come before God in prayer. And we don't want to just have something rolling off our lips that we don't really even think about, but rather that we really focus in on praying those words of the Lord's Prayer. I love Luther in his small catechisms. The Lord's Prayer is one of the chief parts of the catechism, and I love how he breaks down each petition of the prayer. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as in heaven. And you break down each different part, each different phrase in the prayer, and you think about what that means. You look at the scriptures that come around that, and you realize that this prayer is more than just simple words, but it is a declaration of who God is and who you are, and what God will do and has done and can do for you. So I would encourage you as you pray the Lord's Prayer there, the challenge there is to write the Lord's Prayer line by line and pause after writing each line. And that might be a great way for you to pray in a new way. Maybe Our Father, and you just think about, okay, you're my Father, you're my Dad, you're the creator of the universe, but yet you invite me to know you as Father, and not just individually, but collectively, our Father in heaven. How awesome is that? If we could stay there a little bit longer, if we could, in our prayer, not get to our DSA, don't start with asking, but stay there in the reminder of who we're talking to, why we're talking to him, and what he has to offer to us. So my prayer is that you in the Lord's Prayer today would spend a little bit of time, not just saying it, but actually thinking about it, writing it down slowly, as a prayer that you have to get through, but as a prayer that's teaching you as Jesus taught his disciples how to pray. Not just what to pray, how to pray. That's a great question. So may God continue to strengthen you and stretch you and grow you as you learn from Jesus and as I learn from Jesus how to pray. Have a phenomenal day.